All right, everybody, what's going on? So, I don't know how many of you guys are dating. I don't know how many of you guys have maybe chosen to walk away from that. Maybe you're married, maybe you're dating, maybe you've walked away, maybe you're in a situationship, maybe this, maybe that. I'm not sure where you guys find yourselves romantically, but if you are in the market or if you're a man in general, you have seen on YouTube all the videos and all the video titles in the male centric space that are talking about, all the men are walking away or where have the men gone and so on and so forth. Like you see it. Men are walking away. Men are done with dating. Men are giving up, so on and so forth. Now, here's the deal. There's a lot of reasons given, and I can't just give every single reason in this video, but one of the most unique reasons that I've actually seen as an older man, like I said, in the previous video, I told you, I'm a reasonably, objectively successful man in my 40s. And I have seen this. I have seen in the professional world. I'm an engineer. I make really good money. I know lots of other engineers who make great money. I know doctors and lawyers who make great money. I know a lot of people who make a lot of good money. And I have seen time and time again in the professional world, there is this insane thought process that a lot of women have. You are expected to upgrade this woman's life, and she's not expected to be, from a mental, emotional, or even social standpoint, she's not supposed to be what's necessary for that upgrade. She doesn't have to change herself, so to speak. You are supposed to elevate this woman in her mind. Keep in mind, you're supposed to elevate her to a position of prominence. You're supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a this or that. And you're supposed to have this amazing social circle. You are supposed to have, access to resources, both economically and socially. You are supposed to be able to elevate her life, economically, socially, however. And you're supposed to plug her in to your social circle, and you're supposed to put her on, essentially. So even if she's not qualified, and I've seen this, a man is expected to put this woman in a position to, get a job where she's making $60,000, $70,000. So he's supposed to have a prominent position and he's supposed to put her on, whether it's at his company, whether it's at another job, whatever the case might be. It's crazy because a lot of times these women are in no way, shape, or form qualified for the jobs they want their husbands or boyfriends to hook them up with. And even though they're not qualified, the guy will pull strings, get the girl hired at a particular company or whatever, and the woman will just be a complete piece of shit. There are certain jobs where you have to have a level of class, right? People don't mind if you're not qualified for the job from a scholastic standpoint, or, sometimes even from just the standpoint of the qualifications needed. They'll train you on the job, or they'll train you behind the scenes. They'll let you get the qualifications later. But I've seen guys put their girlfriends on, put their wives on with their social circle, and the woman is just a fucking barbarian. The woman is super unrefined and super ungrateful for the opportunity. And she just fucks up his whole social circle. I've seen this time and time again. A man is a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, an engineer, a this or that. And he has the ability, he has the pull, he has the social clout to put a woman in a good position, right? And people know him, they like him. So yeah, that it's not a big deal. They'll hook this chick up. They don't mind, right? They'll hire the chick. She's working at a job making 50, 60 grand, something like that, and it's just easy work, bullshit work. We know she's only there because of him, and nobody's holding it against her. Nobody's holding it against him. Like I said, he's a swell guy. He's a made man. He's done everything necessary to put himself in that position. Everyone loves him. They rock with him, tough. But she'll get there and she will drag this man's name and his reputation through the dirt by just being a piece of absolute dog shit. And there's this expectation that, the man is just supposed to tolerate that. And I've seen it so many times. And a lot of guys in the professional world, like a lot of people in the red pill space, in the male centric space, they talk about a lot of things, but I never hear them talk about that. And that's a huge, huge thing, right? Men working their asses off to put themselves in a great position, to build a great social network, to build a great financial network, just to build themselves. And you get with one woman and she turns out to just be a fucking troglodyte, a damn knuckle dragger. Like, she's not refined in any way, shape, or form. She's a brat. She's an asshole. She's all these things. And she wants you to choose her over everything you've built. And God forbid you have a fucking sleeper agent, right? That's the woman who plays the part until she gets the wedding ring. You marry this bitch and she just, boom, mask off. Sleeper agent activated. And all of a sudden, she wants you to choose her over everything you've built. It's obviously a form of, isolation. She's trying to isolate you against everything you've built. So so she's the only thing in your life and all of that. It's a form of toxicity. I'll have to make a whole other video about that at a whole, different point in time. But the point of the matter is, out of all the things that men talk about in the space, I never see successful men come out and talk about that. And it's not because it's not an issue. It's because most people never think about that. Because by the time it's happened, it's too goddamn late. Because she's going to isolate you. She's going to become an unrefined piece of dog crap. And she's not going to change. But there's this expectation that you're supposed to just accept that. And unfortunately, as crazy as it is, women support other women acting like this. They support it, right? They look at it as though what that man built is owed to the woman. Like somehow his social network, his social circle, all the clout he's gained for himself over all these years, somehow it's owed to her. Like, well, he's supposed to choose her over all of that. He's supposed to put her over everything. Everybody else was the problem. How the fuck is everybody else the problem? And he did the right thing to gain a reputation. He had to do all those things to gain a reputation. And then all the things necessary for her to maintain his reputation are somehow toxic. It's toxic for her to come to work on time. It's toxic for her to have to adhere to certain, standards and social standards and things like that. It's toxic for her to have to play the same political games, maybe at a lesser extent. It's toxic for her to have to, exercise any bit of decorum and, any bit of goddamn just being a decent fucking person. It's the wildest shit. And I never hear anybody talk about it. And just because, I'm a very successful person, or at least an objectively successful person, I just never hear anybody talk about it. And it blows my goddamn mind. Right. And this is one of those things where when you see like strong independent women, the so-called strong independent women, they never tell you that they wash out of corporate America, or they wash out of being doctors and engineers and stuff like that. They never tell you that they wash out because they're fucking assholes and they're just objectively bad people, and they burn every bridge that they run into. Right. And this is even before we start talking about the meager girlfriend. This is like the actual woman who goes to college. Like, women will go to college, become doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, all kinds of professionals. And they're like pieces of shit. They can't politic. They think that politics don't apply to them. They think that they can act any kind of way at the job. They can do anything they want at the job. In the professional world, that whole professional world is like a fucking playground to them. It's the wildest shit. So when we think about why men don't date, that's one of the biggest reasons. It's like, does this woman fit your lifestyle? Will she fit in with your set? Will she fit in with what you've built? I've done too much to build myself to bring this bitch into my life. And I see it so often. Guys who are 35 plus, 35, 40, 45. They're single. Everybody's looking at them like, bro, why are you single? Why don't you have kids? Or, why won't you marry this woman? And it's because it's like, dude, this woman would burn down the empire that I'm trying to build. And if you're in the military, I'm fucking right. I'm fucking right. If you are in the military, if you're a cop, I'm right. You see it all the time. You see people who are like high-ranking officers or they're like high ranking chiefs. I was in the Navy, so I say chief, or like, you'll say like sergeants, master sergeants, first sergeants, stuff like that. If you're in the Army or the Marines, you see it all the time. People who just, they're married to these women, and these women don't give a fuck about their reputation or how hard they had to work to build all that social clout. And these women are just all too eager to make these men look like fucking idiots. And it's like I said, it's a form of manipulation. It's a form of control. I'll have to make a whole other video about that at a later point in time. I just wanted to hop on here and talk about this particular phenomenon from the standpoint of a successful man who is not in a relationship, and mostly almost exclusively because you can't get these women to act right no matter what. You put them in a good position and they will piss right in your fucking face, and they'll burn down everything you've ever built. And the girls club will cheer them on while every man laughs at you, and nobody can really hold them accountable. The next man can't hold your woman accountable. So it's just a dumpster fire when you're dating as a successful man. So like I said, I'm not going to run this one into the ground. Let me know what you guys think. Or do you guys know any successful people with that situation? Are you successful and have that situation? Let me know. Drop a comment, like, share, subscribe, do the whole bit. And I'll catch up with you on the next one. Peace.